A lot of people might hate me for making this video, but all I am doing is spreading the truth. The United States has a new president once again, Donald J. Trump, and Donald Trump is going to change the course of reselling for at least the next 4 years. Now, whether you love him or you hate him, you have to admit that President Trump does a lot of things that are out of the ordinary, things that other presidents wouldn't do. Are they effective? Of course they are, but these things that he is doing right now, and I'll get to what they are in a second, are going to be affecting reselling and how you go ahead and run your business. Now, it's been 2 weeks in the office. There's already people riding in the highways of LA and screaming and crying all over the place. I'm not one of those people. For being completely honest, I love President Trump. I think what he's doing is great for the country. However, I have to make this video to show you guys what is actually going on, how it's going to affect the reselling, and how you can potentially lose thousands of dollars with President Trump in office if you're not very careful. Now, this video is not to say that Trump is a bad president, because the things that he's doing and the way that's going to affect reselling is necessary for our country. However, you as a person have to deal with those consequences and then move around them if you want to move forward. So with that being said, if you want to understand how reselling is going to change with this new president in office and how you can actually capitalize on it to make thousands of dollars every single month and not be in that group that's going to be losing a bunch of money, stay until the end of this video. It's going to be a ton of value. So with that being said, let's just get started. Now, President Trump has already done a bunch of things being in office. He's been in office for 2 weeks, and that's why I love him. He gets stuff done, he knows what he wants, and he goes after it. But one of those things is placing tariffs on other countries, which is going to affect reselling. Now, what tariffs are is basically just a tax on all imported goods. So countries like, let's say, China, Canada, Colombia, even like Mexico, basically all of the goods coming in from those countries and coming into the US, those products are going to get taxed. So to put this into perspective for you in the easiest way possible, let's say you get these pair of AirPods from China for $20. If Trump is putting a 25% tariffs on products from China, means that this product is going to go up by 25% or $5. Now, obviously, it doesn't automatically happen. The people in China can either decide to eat the costs and go ahead and just sell the products for less profit, or they're going to pass that cost on to you, where you are going to end up paying more for products, and that's likely what is going to happen. USPS is already shutting down shipping to China because the rates are too expensive. They don't want to deal with any of that. This is already affecting reselling and how you are living your daily life inside of this business model, and you probably don't even know it. Trump has come to agreements with a bunch of countries he put tariffs on, like Colombia, Mexico, Canada, already, to the point where they don't have as large of tariffs on them because they're willing to cooperate with Trump. But Trump is basically using these tariffs as leverage so that he can get what he wants, and I think it's really smart. However, I feel like China is going to be one of those last countries that's going to cooperate, just because it's not like Canada or Mexico where they're fully reliant on the US. Obviously, there's still parts of China that's reliant on the US, but they are their own superpower. They need us and we need them, but it's going to take a very long time for people like Xi Jinping and Donald Trump to cooperate with each other and come to a consensus on what they need to do. So in the meantime, you need to be prepared for these prices to rise. So now that you understand what tariffs are, how they're going to affect reselling, and how they're already affecting shipping times, the cost of your products, all those different things, how can you combat it and make sure that you are still making as much profit as possible, getting your products on time, all that amazing stuff as a reseller? Now, the first and most obvious thing you need to do is have a good vendor if you're still shopping in China, and communicate with that vendor what's going on. Some vendors, yes, may still be shipping out with USPS. Some vendors aren't going to raise their prices. Other vendors are going to raise their prices a lot because they're money hungry, the tariffs are hitting them harder, whatever it might be. Every vendor is going to be different. Now, I'm personally in the process of communicating with my vendors and giving you guys the best answers, but in the meantime, the best thing that you can do is getting a US based vendor. I've said this a million times on all my different channels, and without US vendors, bro, I wouldn't be able to make money like this and be able to, spread it for you guys, because US vendors really have changed my life. And especially going into 2025, 2026 with these tariffs, bro, you're going to need someone inside the US. Now, not only are you going to just need a US supplier where they just ship products from their house, because they are getting them from China too. They order a bulk from China and then they get it to their house and then they ship it to you, right? That cost is still going to be passed on. What you actually need is your own US manufacturing stations, your own US warehouses that you can get products from. Now, this is super uncommon, and not a lot of people have vendors that are inside the US that have their own warehouses that are literally producing these products like AirPods, like cologne, and so much more every single day. However, I do. I'm not the only person that has these US warehouses, vendors, or has access to these US warehouses, but the reason why they're so important is because another reason that tariffs actually work is because they encourage manufacturing inside of the US. For example, Trump wants to move a lot of the manufacturing of cars from China to Detroit. The way people are going to be incentivized to buy cars made inside of the US, more plants are going to open up, etc., because the cars in the US are going to be cheaper than the cars made in China. With that, there's going to be more jobs, more economic opportunity inside the US, and less reliance on other countries. And the same thing applies for AirPods, AirPod Maxes, colognes, denim to your spider, whatever it might be. If they're making them, manufacturing, stitching, creating electronics, whatever it might be inside the US, the cost is going to be less because there's not that 25% tariff, and they're all being made inside the state. So going into 2025, 2026, the next couple years, getting a US vendor might not only be faster than China, but it also might be cheaper because of these tariffs and because you're getting products manufactured inside of the US. So if you guys need access to that US supplier, to those US warehouses, I have my store linked in bio, or you can just go ahead and, DM me on Instagram. I can get you access, tell you a little bit about what's going on, how you can actually go ahead and kind of, use this US vendor to get your products, why I know for a fact that it is the best thing for you going into Trump's presidency. Now, how long are these tariffs going to last? How long is this effect going to last where you absolutely need US vendors like you have no other choice? I don't really know. It might last a couple months, it might last a couple of years, but for now, you just need to be focused on the present and getting these products in. We already had Chinese New Year last week where you couldn't get product from China, and now this is happening all over again, except it's happening for months or even years on end, bro. Think of it as an extended Chinese New Year. So if you are sick of that, you are sick of waiting for your vendors for a couple weeks because of the Chinese New Year, just imagine what it's going to be like for the next couple months. Your life is going to be hell unless you have a US vendor. With that being said, that's exactly what's happening inside of China, what's exactly happening inside of the reselling business, and how you can move forward, move on, and make money continuously as a reseller in 2025. But if you guys found value out of this video, you learned something from it, any fault with me as a person, I'd appreciate if you drop subscribe, like, comment, do whatever y'all need to do. And if you guys are looking for access to these US warehouses, you want access to reselling tips every single day, you want access to a free community full of other resellers just helping each other out, vibing, having a great time, I have a free community waitlist down in the description. It'll be labeled, you know exactly where to go. All you have to do is sign up and you'll be the first to know when I drop my free reselling community. Now, with that being said, I appreciate you guys taking the time of your day and watching this video, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.